how many flowers
I just want to know how many flowers it can pick up.
Not in pounds, in flowers.
Not like sandbags, you know, not moving, you know, big crates of materials and building supplies. You just want to know, like, it's raw flower lifting
This is how
capacity.
you hook the wives, though, because they can
Right.
say, but babe, it
Right.
carries this many
And
flowers.
let me show you how many flowers this thing can lift.
All right, so you're doing an intro, and then what we use it for?
No, I'm a YouTube professional. I don't need any notes. Been doing this for a couple years now. I think I don't need any help.
He needs help. I have the notes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because I'll ramble too long, and that's a problem on these kind of videos. Hold on, let's let this diesel Ram go by. You see, that brings up a good point.
He looked super jealous of your tractor, though.
He did.
So
he looked very
he was
jealous.
just like, wow, look at that.
We're here in Oklahoma, so a lot of people, you know, they want bigger, stronger. We have true tractor and farm needs around here. So a lot of times when you have the baby tractor, that's what my neighbor refers to this. He says he loves my cute tractor. And I'm like, but I don't actually care. So this is the right tool for the job for us. So let's talk about the John Deere 1025R. Let's talk about the John Deere 1025R and whether I made the right choice. Meaning to make this video for a long time. Our first one was one of our bigger videos on the channel, but nobody that watches 1025R videos is gonna watch the rest of our videos on our channel because we're a flower farm. And when we originally bought this, that was one of the reasons that we bought this tractor. And flower farms are a little different from other farms in that they're usually much smaller space. And so we don't have like a humongous amount of space here. You can kind of scan and show. We've got a little over 2.5 acres. It looks like we have more because there's pasture around us, but that's the land we're using. And I'm kind of glad when it comes to mowing all this that I don't have more to mow.
Why did you choose?
You can join me on the conversation. This is a dialogue.
Yeah.
Why did I choose this? So when we moved here, I set a vision to launch a flower farm that capitalized on my wife's experience growing flowers through my Air Force career. And you know, she kind of has a green thumb. What she grows well. So I figured let's give this farm thing a shot. And here we are in year 3. But then we also just had 2.5 acres. So I wanted a machine that kind of did everything. Mowed the lawn, could lift stuff. We could get a rototiller for because we're breaking a lot of dirt, and getting kind of like an all-in-one machine that can handle every farm task and every just general property maintenance task was super important. So that's why we ended up going with this. I know you can get the mower deck on the one step up, the belly mower, but I just felt like the size was going to be an issue. We wanted something compact, or I wanted something small. When you see these in pictures, you kind of think like, it just looks like a lawnmower. It looks like a rider. Let me tell you, it is way bigger than the John Deere, you know, like X series lawnmowers. We wanted it to be, I wanted it to be a multi-purpose machine. To be honest, it was a little bit of I wanted a cool machine. I'm not a farmer. I wasn't raised on a farm. I'd never even driven a tractor before I got this. So keep that in mind. But I think after a year of use, I've gotten to know this machine enough to make a good long-term review. Many of you may have watched my original review, which was about a hot minute into owning it. But we wanted some content for our channel at the time. And a lot of people have bought this tractor apparently because of that first review. I'm sure that a lot of you have watched plenty of other reviews. And most people like this machine. It's obviously one of the most popular subcompacts on the market. And people trust the green machine. And that's typically what a lot of Americans go to when they think about it. So what's my next section? Where am I going after this ramble?
just list, we'll go through the implements, but list all of the ways you use the tractor. Like think about your week
Right.
and all the different ways you
I
use
mean,
it.
this is, so it's seen a little less use, and we'll get to the reason why than previously, due to the fact that I don't mow the lawn with it anymore. There's a lot of reasons for that, but we'll talk about that when we talk about implements and kind of some of the things I would change if I were to buy this again. But we use it a lot of times for the main things is a lot of the farm specific tasks. We also bought a big 5-yard dumpster, so the only way to get that out to the road on our long driveway is to move it with this tractor. I'm not pushing it up a hill. Rototilling, that doesn't happen all the time, but a few times a year. We have to turn these beds, and we're still working with some fresh soil, so we're still trying to turn the soil a lot each year. And flowers are kind of a unique thing with farming because they're much like woodier stems, so it's hard to like do the no-till method with flowers because you kind of need to break up the stalks. Like 6 months later, those stalks are still pretty pointy and sharp, and you can't just like no-till into them because they'll put holes in silage and they'll catch up on all the landscape fabric we use. So the rototiller is going to probably stick with us for a long time. Lifting general things, we use a lot of pallets. We actually,
What's
our favorite
the best
test,
way
the best way,
use
sorry.
it? My favorite way you use the tractor.
The favorite way is picking up flowers. Big buckets of flowers. Let me tell you, this girl can pick up some pallets of flowers.
Let me tell you, if you have
I know most men are like, when I consider a tractor,
how many flowers?
I just want to know how many flowers it can pick up.
Not in pounds, in flowers.
Not like sandbags, not moving, big crates of materials and building supplies. You just want to know like it's raw flower lifting capacity.
This is how you hook the wives though, because they can say, but babe, it carries this many flowers.
And let me show you how many flowers this thing can lift.
We need to buy it.
It is. So each week, but I mean, like we don't have a big like gator with a big bed on the back. So like when you put a big old pallet on the front of this, it could fit a lot of buckets of flowers. And we don't take them very far, but like we're just learning on a farm, even on a small one, that all the little step savings matter. So being able to take a whole bunch of stuff from one side of the property to the other actually matters a lot. So the pallet forks have become the #1 implement that I can't imagine dealing without. So lifting things, moving flowers, moving buckets of water, and all that stuff. The pallet forks have been completely essential. Now moving soil and dirt and gravel are super important. So the bucket itself, and when you look at it and you think it's small, kind of diminutive compared to like a giant machine, the really cool thing about this tractor is its size. If you need to move in tight spaces, so the bucket, believe me, just moving anybody that does manual labor knows that like you get a big dump truck of soil or gravel, moving that by hand, digging it with a shovel, picking it up, even if it's just like a pile of mulch, picking it up and then putting it into a wheelbarrow, that extra motion is already enough. This thing, I can get a huge amount. Like you can take a whole dump truck and you can move it. So like moving dirt with the bucket, super important. And we do it all the time around here. Even just like breaking up piles that have been sitting around for a while. Like we've got a mulch pile that's on the other side over there. I can't imagine doing that by hand at this point. I'd rather just take a bucket and just kind of rip into it and like pull out a huge clump, and it just moves so much dirt, even at this size. And I can't imagine like dealing without that back saver on a farm without it. So I mean, like those two implements, and they usually, well, the pallet forks don't normally come default when you buy them, but the bucket obviously you do. I can't imagine not getting the pallet forks. So I'm kind of just walking into what I bought for it already. That's been super useful.
So list your implements though on your fingers, like concisely.
Concisely. Well, pallet forks, the bucket, this weird thing. This has been an interesting purchase. You can come back here. This is a unique one. A lot of people might buy a landscape rake. This is a little different. It's a little lighter weight, or a lot lighter weight than a landscape rake. A bit of a pain to put together, but finding it actually pretty useful. It's kind of like a a dethatcher in some ways, but I just call it a big old rake. It's like 60 inches wide. It's just got metal tines here that just gotta be careful not to go backwards. But today, using this a lot to just pull debris and like move them from one side to the other. You could do leaves with this if you had a heavy wooded property. But this is, I don't think I would, this isn't something a dealer will sell. It's like a 60-inch dethatcher rake, landscape rake. It's from this company here, CMP Attachments, because I'm sure there's going to be people in the comments like, what is that thing? You can buy those big landscape rakes. They cost a lot more. They're closer to $1,000. This one was like $400. It's useful. I found it to be pretty useful, especially when you put a little weight on it. It can get into the dirt, can kind of do a little bit of tillage as well. But I used this last year a lot to clear debris, just kind of backed up and scraped the debris to the other end. A couple other things. We got the rototiller. We're kind of running out of light here. I'd maybe run over there and get some pictures. But we got the big 48-inch rototiller, thing that weighs like 900 pounds, and it sits back here. And like that's an absolute essential tool, at least for what we do.
How many times have you hit your head on that though?
I've actually gotten good about this. In the 6-month video, I think I didn't know it was my lawn mowing video.
Your mowing video. You hit your head so many times.
I whacked my head on this thing. This is another attachment here.
Yeah, that's a good point.
This is one that a lot of people love, and the reason why I keep this down, we don't have a lot of slope on our property, so I know a lot of people will be like, put that roll bar up, you're going to be in danger. We're not dealing with a lot of elevation here, so don't feel too in danger of rolling this tractor on our situation. Oh, I know, people are going to get me. The problem is the way they build this thing, like goes forward, and I'm at a higher risk of skin cancer because I burn when like the sun looks at me for more than 2 minutes, even on a overcast day. So shade, super important to me. One of the reasons I also put this down was because when I originally was doing it, I was mowing and I was going under trees, and this big old bar was getting in the way. But this shade, I forgot the name of this company. Everyone asks. It's called a Rhino Hide Canopy. Yeah, Rhino Hide. This thing is tough. I think I rammed this into a tree once and really bent some metal that I had to fix. But like the hide, this part itself, like just nothing happened to it. But it's nice to sit under shade because otherwise it was like really high.
Also, one thing you didn't mention that doesn't come across in video is that you're 6'5".
I'm 6'5", yeah.
So proportionally, that kind of does matter.
Right. So, yeah, this is...
meaning it fits you.
Yeah, I haven't had the issue. You guys may have seen the other video. I did some heavy-duty spring upgrades here. Had a super detailed video about installing those just because I'm a 250-pound guy, so wanted to just give myself a little bit. I was bottoming out a lot, so I installed that. What else do I have? I have the 60-inch belly mower. That's the least used implement now, and the reasons I don't use it is because we got a lot of, when we first bought the property, and I have a mowing, I think a video called like, can this 60-inch belly mower mow the whole thing? And that's before we kind of really developed this side acre on our property. Now it's just too many edges and too many turns, and so I'll probably make another video reviewing the Ego 0-turn mower. That's become my go-to for mowing this property, not the tractor. And the reasons, it's just, this is a big machine. It's one of the reasons I love it is it's very agile. It's got a pretty tight turning radius. Mowing with what do you think? It's like 15 feet long.
You're asking the wrong person.
It's long.
Sure, babe, 15 feet.
Yeah, it's like 15 feet long. Now, yes, you can make it shorter. You can remove this. This whole like loader, it's called the 120R loader. It comes off pretty simply. It's a little bit of a pain to decouple all these hydraulics, and we'll get to some of the things I wish John Deere would do to upgrade this machine. And then of course you have the man, I'm drawing a blank on the tractor terms right now.
The heavy back bucket. is the technical term.
No, it's the 3-point. Man, I'm spacing.
Oh, the 3-point thing. You talked to me about this.
Yeah. Why am I'm like
3-point suspension. 3-point arm.
See, I'm gonna lose points on this video now and be like, come on, man.
3-point
We
hydraulic.
were sweating our brains out today. My brain's a little bit fried.
3-point hydraulic.
No,
3-point arm.
That's just it's the Cat 1 3-point hitch. Linkage. It's pretty sweet, dude. I mean, like, let's be honest. Like, this little compact machine, when you first buy it, you think it's just an overgrown lawnmower. And then you realize this is a legitimate piece of machinery. I mean, without anything on it, I think it weighs like 1,500 or 1,600 pounds. Whereas like a riding lawnmower is like 400 pounds at its heaviest with a little gas engine. You know, big 3-cylinder diesel engine, which I did all my maintenance today on, and I'm super glad. I've been dragging that out. But you know, you got the loader. You can put a belly mower on. You put a tiller on. And I guess you technically could run the tiller and the mower at the same time. I have never seen a reason to use both simultaneously. I would love to know in the comments.
Let's not.
I want to know what. Come here. Let me show you this. Let me just.
Men, let's not do it just because we could.
No. I want to know. Like, I just don't know what. Come over here. You have to come over on this side to see it.
I'm coming.
We're zooming around here.
The men will know.
So, you got the the mid mount PTO. That's
there it is, PTO.
Well, no, PTO is the name of this thingy.
The spinny thing.
The spinny thingy that like you can, like I can't imagine me ever getting twisted like it shows down there. But it's got just a mid mount, and then it's got obviously the rear PTO. But I don't know what you would do with both running at the same time.
Tell us, internet.
So like I'm trying to understand if you have an implement that uses both simultaneously, I would love to know, because I don't know what it would be, to be honest with you. I have no clue. And I'd actually be a little bit worried about its ability to run both simultaneously, because it is, I mean, it's not like an incredibly powerful, it's, 25 horsepower, 26 horsepower, whatever it is. I can't imagine actually, I mean, when you run, like if I'm running in thick grass, that 60-inch mower it'll start, you'll feel it in the engine, even with it cranked up to its PTO RPMs here at about 3,200 RPMs. And then when I'm running the rototiller, like, that takes a lot of horsepower too. And let me tell you, that's an interesting experience. I've gotten pretty good about not letting the rototiller take me on a ride like I did when I first bought it last year, because I didn't have it secured right and it came off and like I started spinning. But I did have another incident the other day with some slope issues where the rototiller wanted to take me on another ride, like a little motorboat. Almost ran through the farm. Almost ran through these flowers here.
You're admitting things that most men don't admit, because they don't put it on the internet. They
this is an
do
honest,
stupid things with no witnesses.
Yeah, every man does them, and then they laugh about them over a beer.
It was fine.
It was fine. I was in control the whole time. See, now the men are going to be like, that's what that roll bar's for, dude.
This is going great.
Yeah.
Okay, next is...
Well, so am I missing any implements?
No.
None?
No. And let's just stay here.
Well, I got the big counterweight. Just, for all you safety freaks, I got it. Like, you don't want, that's the reason these things tip. I got the big old chunk of like the big box of just filled with like cement and gravel that weighs like an insane amount. So I counterbalance this thing most of the time. And it's one of the reasons I, ended up not doing much with the mower is like you want to take this front part off, and then you want to take that part off, and getting stuff out the back here is easy. But once you do all that, it's still a pretty big machine. And it weighs a lot.
For a lot of other things regularly, so it's a lot of on and off and changes.
It's kind of the old adage of like master or jack of all trades, master of none. Like sometimes a specific tool is just the right tool for the job, and a zero-turn mower in our situation is just the right tool. Our grass grows very, very fast when we're in this particular time of the year. and it just constantly needs to be mowed and hit the edges. It's just very vigorous, and like there's just no way.
Can do it.
Yeah, and our kids can now help, our younger kids. All right, so what's our next section, babe?
Our next section is limitations, things you wish John Deere would have done a little different.
Right. I think John Deere, if you're listening, Mr. John Deere, is that even a family anymore?
No, we don't even go down this road.
Yeah.
Delete.
Delete. Put a better seat in this tractor. It's $20,000+ for this machine. It's time to get an air ride seat on here. The fact that my riding zero turn has a better seat than this, you know, that needs to be fixed. Make this a more comfortable sitting zone that can handle a fatter American or a larger American.
You're not fat.
The next thing is, if I had a John Deere wish, is just come over here. John Deere, please put a quick release for your hydraulic. If you want to make people buy these things with a lawnmower, a loader, and the 3-point hitch with the PTO setup, and you want them to be able to kind of mix and match and do stuff quickly, you did a good job making it easy to get that big 60-inch mower on here. But like when you want to mow, you want to get this big 10-foot loader off, and like individually disconnecting these things and dealing with this big old chunk of a hose. And you guys sell it as an aftermarket thing where it's just like a little thing and you kind of pull it off. That should be standard. Just if you're trying to make a multifunction machine, don't charge your customer $1,600 to install, you know, a quick release for the hydraulic couplings. And then the other thing is, please, John Deere, your inline fuel filter is a pain in the butt to change out for the average dude. Your cables are, I mean, the way the hoses and it's a mess to do. And so it'd be nice if you would put that somewhere else easier to change with maybe a valve to turn the tank off. And that shouldn't be too expensive for you guys to add to your design. Limitations.
Limitations. You had one
just
big
in
one.
general, the big one is like the loader lifting weight is a little bit weak. I think it's like 750 to 900 or something, depending on whether you're right here at the pin or, you know, out here at the end. But going a step up doesn't buy you a lot of lifting capacity. You'd have to really go up to like the 3 Series, I believe, to get much of an improvement there. And we could not run a 3 Series on this property. It would just be way too big to maneuver around. I'd feel like I'm really, you know, these are delicate flowers. I can't have this big old honking machine. It's funny, joke. I know my neighbor came over and he had like a much bigger, not a Kubota. It was like the cat logo machine. What's the cat? Bobcat. He had a Bobcat tractor. I didn't know Bobcat made tractors. Everyone thinks Bobcat. They think of the
skid steer.
Yeah, skid steer stuff for Bobcats.
Did you see that? I got it right.
Right. And he also, so I had one neighbor that's just like, I love your cute tractor. And then he was like, I can't imagine a man ever wanting a smaller tractor. And he's like, I can't even imagine a job where I'd ever say like, I need a smaller tractor. I always say like, I wish I had a bigger tractor for the job. 2 days later, he was like, I might want to borrow your tractor because I got to get in some tight spaces with some gravel. And I was like, aha!
Well, look how the turntables
have turned. You do need a small machine, a machine of precision and elegance.
There you go.
And so I'm not, ooh, look, my kids did something here. I love that. You want to see something else kids do? In the first year I got this, the kids like to they figured out how to turn the lights on.
Oh no.
So, let me see if I still have it in here. This little switch. Come here, babe.
You didn't tell me they did this.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So, they were always doing this, turning the lights on, and then I come out like hours later and the lights would be on and the battery was dying. So I've since
it has a
removed,
kid safety option. See? That's a pro.
So yeah, that's been sitting back here in this little toolbox. But because of that, I really wrecked the factory battery, so I had to replace that. At one point, that was a surprisingly expensive battery to replace. So other than like some of those quibbles I have and some of the design improvements, like they should put LED lights on this and, you know, a better air suspension seat and just move that stupid inline fuel filter. You know, obviously if they can do anything to increase hydraulic pressure so that it can just be a little bit stronger. Other than that, like, I mean, I love using this thing. It's powerful. It's, you know, it's agile. And I mean, like the size, it's big, you know, and you see it here and you see those tires, you realize, you know, it's still a honking machine to drive around for, you know, if you were living in a suburban house with a 1/6 of an acre, this thing would look utterly absurd. Obviously, as your land gets bigger and your job gets bigger, you know, you want a bigger machine. But like, I mean, I think I've heard other YouTube channels will say this. They'll say, it's not, you know, a smaller machine can get most all the same jobs done as a bigger tractor. Obviously, there will be some lifting limits, but, you know, if you're moving a pile of dirt or gravel, they can do that. You know, I did some grading of our little gravel up here. You know, he just dumped some of those piles out and, you know, graded that with this. It's, you know, it doesn't really take too long. A lot of times I'll be like, I got to go move that pile. And then like 30 minutes later, you're like, you're done? Mm-hmm. And it's moved. But the dirt's gone. I mean, a dump truck of dirt, a dump truck of gravel.
You're supposed to say soil.
Soil. Dirt. I don't know. Where is this forum where people get really offended over where I say soil versus dirt?
It depends on who we anger on the internet.
Okay.
There is a whole dirt soil community.
A dirt soil, okay.
That gets upset.
Okay.
I'm just letting you know. Okay, so since we're technically a flower farming channel, and so some of those subscribers will listen, put the 1025R in the context of small scale flower farming.
Or produce farming.
Or produce farming, yes.
Which are, you know, a couple internet sensations right now is to give your shot at, you know, organic produce farming or small scale flower farming. Small scale is, you know, it's kind of the definition. These are
small scale is like less
labor
than 2
intensive
acres.
operation. You're right.
Yeah.
So, what was the question?
Just put the tractor usage in the context of flower farming for those that
like,
might want to buy it for those reasons.
Yeah, you have a couple options. You can buy that like Lamborghini tiller thing that a lot of people do. Obviously, that's nice because you can get it into even tighter spaces. It's like inside a tunnel. But in general, for our use here, like I'm designing this property so that I can move this small tractor around. Like you can see right here, between fields is probably like 15 to 20 feet. And so like I'm leaving enough buffer between fields so that I can maneuver a small tractor in. Right, so in general, like I'm designing this farm to use this machine. So, and I'm trying to figure out ways to use it even more so. Like
and our
today,
beds are pretty much the width of the tiller.
Yeah, so we till, I mean, we grow 3 feet or a little under, but you know, the 4-foot tiller works. It's bigger than the tire. So, you know, I till and then I'll cut a path by hand, you know, throw the dirt onto the top and then kind of rake it in. The tiller does a great job of just, even if you wanted to not go super deep. So, you know, in the context of that, like I said, we're moving dirt. So we're going to, you know, get another dump truck or 2 of soil. Did I say it right? Mm-hmm. Of soil delivered, composty soil mix, compost mix. And that's just going to go up towards the gates up there. And it's going to be like, well, how do you get it from there into the fields? Yeah, you could do it by hand. Yeah, it's certainly a way to do it, get a wheelbarrow. But even if I was putting it in a wheelbarrow, I like using the tractor to lift it and then dump it. And I mean, most people say like, you know, as you get older, you're trying to do things to save your back. And like that extra help with just lifting the dirt up and putting it in a wheelbarrow is extremely helpful. And having this machine do that is super useful. So we'll put it into a wheelbarrow and then like a big gorilla cart. You kind of put them side by side and like this bucket will fill both of them in one shot. And then there you go. It's like it picked it up, it put it in the bucket, and now I can move it around. Hauling debris. Like I said, this thing's turned out to be really helpful. Today we used it because I terminated some of our sunflowers and I just backed up and I just helped put this down and just scraped all the stalks to the end of the row. That's super useful. Generally, transporting flowers from one place to another on a big pallet is useful. Just pallets and stuff and pallet forks are super useful. So we're collecting all the pallets we can.
All of our tulip crates on it.
Yeah, we put tulip crates on, and Yeah, moving a lot of weight. Like the tulip weights, I mean, those things are pretty heavy. And when you stack a bunch of them up, and I mean, like one of the most annoying jobs on the farm, and you can just show them over there. Talk about image problems. Moving these things is probably the #1 biggest PIA on a farm. And even though I've been getting these bags smaller and smaller, moving them around, even from one side of the field to the other, like just get the bucket and toss a bunch of them in there, move them over there, move them over here. You need help moving some really heavy stuff on a farm. Even like when you get a whole bunch of these in a stack, you know, when you put like 40, 50 of these on a pallet, that pallet weighs a decent amount. So moving stuff like that is just a benefit. Again, like you just can put it on a machine that can handle a lot of weight.
A lot. I'm going slowly so you don't get dizzy. You used a lot for building your tunnel. It carried a lot of weight for you.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to do another tunnel and we'll move stuff from a delivery side of the house, which is, you know, all our stuff gets delivered all the way over there. I'm pointing, nobody can see it, all the way that way.
Yeah.
And so we have to transport it because we have some now service gates, but nobody delivers to our service gates yet because it's not an address location.
So if you're a flower farmer on a smaller scale, meaning 2 acres sub, this is a really great choice. If you're just doing a lot of stuff on your own property, this is a great choice. Especially if you don't want a much bigger machine.
You're trying to wrap me up now, aren't you?
I am. Because you have to edit yourself and you're going to be upset about it.
Yeah, I know. Would I change anything? A couple things I would change for my particular use case is I wouldn't go into this thinking I was going to use it as a lawnmower. I wish that I had just bought like a brush hog. I think that would be useful, or some other way to like terminate big plants, because I'm trying to figure out when the plants are big, like they're as tall as me, like how do I get them chopped up and then moved off of the field to a compost pile. I did use my belly mower for that last year, but it's a bit of a weird thing to use for that. You need something a little coarser because you're not really trying to like mulch it. I mean, you kind of are, but like not into obliteration because you still got to move it somewhere else. So the mower part didn't work out like I thought, and that's just because it's not agile enough. And like I said, they could do some stuff to make it quicker. I still don't think it would be enough to make me say like I want to use this as my primary mower. I still would use this for like thicker grass, like if I wanted to go out into this and into the pasture at all. But again, like people are going to go out there and they're going to put a big brush hog on, and that's kind of or a flail mower or something like that. And that's what people would largely do. I spent a lot of money on this, which was in my first video. This is I had them install a true third function, and people are going to say, like, that's not a true third function. It is. You can operate all 3 simultaneously if you want to. It's got a little remote here. It does use, obviously, all the same pressure limitations. I have not used it at all. I had heard on some videos, you know, that this was a must-have, get this done before you buy it. Maybe one day I'll do something on the front, and maybe it will power like a front sickle bar mower for me one day that I use to cut down plants.
You might be glad
out
you
in
have
the front. And then at that point, then I'll completely change that. But this was $1,600 as an accessory. We'll see. Jury's still out.
Is this the tractor equivalent of men saving all various cables because you might need it at some point?
Yep. So
that one day you'll say, ha!
if I can get a front sickle bar mower that can run on this, it's going to cost an absurd amount of money. All these implements cost gosh darn a lot. So I like it. It's been reliable. I haven't had to do too much maintenance. There was a little bit of a fuel filter issue last year. I was running in some power. The fuel filter got really dirty. Had to replace that. Didn't know about that. I mean, I knew about the one down here, but there's one under the left side there. That's the inline. It's a real pain in the butt to deal with. Other than that, it's been comfortable to use, powerful, and I'm sure other subcompacts are great too. But you know, I love the green machine. It's been a real joy to have. I've been so thankful I have it. Some of those days when you just want to sit on a machine and let it do the work and not you, it is important.
There are days when you come in from working and say, can you imagine if I had to do that by hand?
Oh, I know.
So
this farm wouldn't be happening if we didn't have this machine. there's just some of the heavy lifting it's done that I can't. I mean, like our neighbor, he's 15 years younger than me, but I just can't imagine. He doesn't have a loader to do all this moving of stuff. And moving dirt, moving earth is a lot of work. And I'm very glad that we have this. And thank you for watching. This is Coram Farm. We are a year 3 Oklahoma cut flower farm who sells specialty retail bouquets from our roadside stand.
Almost got it. That was really good.
Oh, so
that
close.
Was really good.
Like and subscribe, though.
Even you tractor guys that were mad that I had a mic. Love you. Bye.
We'll see you in the next video.